21 years ago, I was raped. I'd woken up dazed. He was on top of me, inside me, having sex with me while I was asleep. It was silent. How could I have not woken up sooner? I thought for a second it was a dream. In actual fact, it was a nightmare that had now become my reality. "Are you wearing a condom?" asking him again. "Are you wearing a condom?" He remained silent. That was his answer. I knew in that moment what had happened to me. I lay on the rapist's bed, frozen. It was as if time stood still for a few moments. A question went rolling through my mind. Why would someone want to have sex with someone while they are asleep? Unless their intentions are malicious. I'd spoken to a few nurses when I went for a HIV test and said, "I've been raped." But no word of rape was written or attached to my file. While being escorted into a different room, I knew what was coming. The confirmation. My diagnosis. A nurse looking down at me said, "You're HIV positive," in the same breath asking me, "So, how do you feel?" As I walked out from the hospital, broken, changed forever with that confirmation, the world spun so fast, shattered into 100,000 pieces. I was diagnosed with an early diagnosis which supports my rape, and I received a terminal illness for which I was given 12 months to live. The missed opportunity for the police to be called set me up to being psychologically traumatised all my adult life and still to this present day. Taunted, ridiculed, laughed at and pointing over at me, I'd become a trophy in the eyes of this perpetrator. He had no conscience. As it was stated by him and his associates sometime a little later, that in actual fact, he'd given me the gift. Many years later, in 2008, I couldn't take any more, and I decided to report to the police. I was in a place of trauma, and although I'd been misunderstood as a gay man prior to this experience, I had no other option and nowhere else to turn. The case was no further actioned, and informed by the police at the time that I was doing a lot better than him, and that in actual fact, he had cancer. A vulnerable adult I'd become, and these experiences had left me feeling even more so. I've blamed, hated, judged, disliked and been non-accepting of myself for many, many years, in a place of darkness and hopelessness. I couldn't understand why I had the strength to go on. There have been very few times over the 20 years when I have not disclosed. I've always been undetectable, which means untransmissible, ever since going on medication after my diagnosis. I've always been honest regarding my experiences. I've always been safe, and I've never had an issue with protecting myself, even though that choice had been taken away from me. Disclosure is a right and a personal choice when to share. I'd look out of my window, thinking of ending my life, broken. But my heart beat so fast with love. I looked out of my window, at the beautiful world. Felt so detached from it. Why did I still feel love in my heart when I felt so broken? I made an acquaintance about 8 to 10 years ago, a fellow HIV positive guy. I shared a lot in a short space of time with him. He was animated and jovial, but it was always at the expense of others. I shared how I'd done lots of volunteering at George House Trust and how that had helped me. He found it funny and amusing that he knew of other HIV positive people and he would point and laugh at them. I asked him for space and informed him at the time that he was no longer welcome at my home. Since then, he's felt he'd had a right to step into this role of the perpetrator. I've been attacked, knocked out unconscious and my head split open, items left on my doorstep and even posted through my letterbox. Standing outside talking to my neighbours, pointing up at me, spreading his toxic web of lies. It's clear that no one has been able to get away from him, and it's clear that he didn't like my order for him to stay away. Even telling a hotel where I stayed with a previous partner that I was the rapist and that I'm spreading AIDS, putting my life and others around me in danger, as it's easy for people to believe his lies. Living in fear, I've stayed away from my own gay community as a result, out of self-care and protection. HIV isn't the disease that's killing our community and society, but using it as a weapon against one another is. It needs to be stamped out now. There is no place for it. When people have time to talk about others, question, why are they not talking of themselves? More recently, although there are challenges ahead, I've connected with my spirituality, starting and completing therapy after a mental breakthrough and accessing support from Survivors Manchester. I was understanding this script I'd been given. Breaking the silence, I had an opportunity to share at the Manchester International Festival opening ceremony last year with my beautiful dog Buster. I was being listened to and acknowledged finally after so many years. After receiving sacred plant medicine, I was able to acknowledge a part of me I'd forgotten about with all these labels and words. It was me. It is me. My light. We all have everything we require inside of us and have the power to heal ourselves. Shedding old layers of an onion skin, I was given a chance to empower myself and rise above this negativity, which is toxic in our society. I've become more awakened and more conscious of the world and the bigger picture around me. Everything is a gift from each and every breath we take. Allowing ourselves to come from this place of gratitude and humbleness enables us to see the beauty in everything. The choice is yours. I'm now creating magic from my experiences by raising awareness for all. We fought so hard over the years to be accepted in society. This is called pride. But at times it seems easy for others to stab each other in the back to lift their egos, as they are in a place of trauma and darkness, and they have been unable to look inwardly to heal. If we switched out all the lights and stopped the music, take off our masks, what are we really about? We are love. We are one. We are family. This is our one chance and opportunity to make a difference in the world. Being authentic in stepping into our true alignment and purpose is amazing. Be brave. See the light. Feel the light. Be the light. Switch on your own light and start genuinely helping and picking up our fellow brothers and sisters. Not from a place of ego, but because it feels right. Instinctively. I choose not to live in fear any longer and continue on my path of healing and sharing unconditional love. You're amazing. Allow yourselves to be so.